Hi, I'm Nicole Shore, and I'm going to talk to you today about autism spectrum disorder. First, I'm going to go over the characteristics of students with autism spectrum disorder, with their social relationships, communications, student interests, student stresses, and the diversity of students with ASD. Social relationships are very challenging for most people with ASD. Many resist human contact and social interactions even as early as when they can see properly as an infant. They have troubles learning how to have subtleties of social interactions, often don't make eye contact, and may seem uninterested in social interactions. They may even be listening to you and not looking at you, but it seems like they're not. Even as little as infants, they have found that ASD um, children have difficulty making eye contact. Communication with ASD students often have a significantly delayed language development, if they have any language development. They struggle to maintain conversations. They may use behaviors instead of words, and some have echolactic speech, which is they just say back what you said. There is a person that I follow on social media, and they're very open about their daughter having ASD, and she didn't talk for like the first 10 years of her life. Now she sounds like a robot, but she actually talks, and it seems like she doesn't have emotions and um, expression in her talk. But if you could tell by her body language, you can tell that she's happy or excited or whatever, but her voice is not showing that. It's hard for them to maintain conversations because they don't make eye contact and they act like they're not interested. And when that happens, other people seem like they're not interested and may go on too. And with the behaviors instead of words, sometimes they don't know how to express themselves, so they might wind up hitting or yelling or screaming or throwing a fit on the floor because um, they don't have the ability to use their words, so they're using behaviors. Students with ASD have narrow range of interest, can spend hours engrossed investigating those interests, and may act bored if the subject area is not related in their interest area. I put the picture here, or I guess here. Um, because it reminded me of a student that we've had in the past, and he was infatuated with World War II. He could tell you what kind of tanks and which different countries had what kind of tanks and what kind of guns, and he wanted to do art projects that were based, and he wanted to do projects for science based on this. And if they weren't talking about World War II or anything that he wanted to, he either talked over you about what was on his mind at that moment about the subject, and or they just don't want anything to do with you if you don't want to talk about what they're talking about. Students with ASD have stress, like everybody else, but it's a little more intense for a lot of them. They have a low threshold for stress. They have difficulty dealing with stress, which will cause anxiety, changes, noises, odors, um, are stress causers, and restricted and repetitive behaviors um, happen sometimes with student stresses. Um, when they have changes that go on, like if you rearrange the classroom or you rearrange the schedule, or we're moving on to a different thing in the class that they've been on for the last 3 months, they don't like that change. Um, it's that causes anxiety for them. Noises, if it's really loud. I know we have a kid that has, or a student that has difficulties when everybody's getting ready to go home at the last 15 minutes of the day. So we actually take him out of the room because his worst behaviors were at the very end of the day. The chaoticness of everybody hurry up and getting their stuff together and putting it in their desk and putting their desks up and wiping down their desk and getting their backpacks and, don't forget to do this and don't forget to do that. He can't handle all that busyness. So we take him out of class, so that way he doesn't have to deal with that busyness. But he can handle the lunchroom, which is odd to me. But those are two things. The same kid a few years ago, we had in our special ed room, I brought snacks, or we brought snacks, and I brought a crock pot full of pizza, pizza rolls, and that smell made him want to vomit. He still does have very sensitive odors where he can't function if something is wrong. So he doesn't like the smell of coffee. So every time I work with him, I make sure I'm chewing gum or have a mint and not drinking the coffee at the moment that I'm actually like working one on one with him, because he just cannot handle it. The restrictive and repetitive behavior, there's all kinds of different things. Some do it because they're getting exciting or they're stressed out. I know there's some kids that we have in school and that they go like this when they either it can be either excited or stressed out. So if I see them sitting in class doing that, I just try to go over there and I'll say, "Hey, what's going on with your hands?" I just go over there, touch their back lightly and say, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything?" And usually that calms them down. The diversity of students with ASD, sorry, may need extensive supports. They may need curriculum modified to their individual needs, support needed throughout their lives to help them learn things that are harder on them than a typical person, and then daily living skills on how to interact in social settings or just everyday life. Um, ASD is such a broad range or spectrum of different things here and there. It could be a range of all kinds of things. And teaching children or students how to deal with their particular subject area that they're having a hard time with personally. And now I'm going to talk about instructional supports for students with autism spectrum disorder. We're going to talk about responding to behavior, fostering social interactions, and communicating with students. Responding to behavior. There are support programs that you can put in place to help um, students create a structured and predictable environment, clear procedures and routines used with fidelity, which is very important. Social stories, visual schedules, and quiet places can be different options. I have on the screen an example of a visual schedule, so that way the student knows exactly what's going on. And if they're worried about what time it is, it's right there. Sometimes we've done a theme of a schedule to NASCAR because the student was interested only in NASCAR. So they liked it. And then we put Velcro on one side and then on the other so that once you did this activity and you put it over here, you already did it. So then he knows the next activity is going to be going to art class. And then when they're done with that, put it over there. And that way they know in the order that's going on. It depends on the age and each kid is different. Social stories are a wonderful thing to do. At any age. And sometimes you just have to repeat the same story every day or once a week. How to be nice to your friends on the playground and we don't put our hands on them. And a quiet place is always a good, safe place to have for a child, so that they know that they can go there either to calm down or just a quiet place because they can't handle the noise of the classroom once the teacher's done with instruction. Fostering social interactions is something that a lot of ASD students need help with. Observing their behavior so that way you understand exactly what's going on and why they may be doing it or how to use that information to figure out what they may need, or to know what questions to ask them after maybe to kind of figure out what's going on. Work with special educators to accommodate whatever they need. Also, working with the parents will help you get on the same page of what's going on at home too. Teaching social skills they lack or have difficulty with, that kind of went with the last one, and like with social stories or whatever, is a good way. There's all kinds of different ways. You can watch videos, you can read stories, you can just talk about it. It just depends on the age and the child, what works best for them. Communicating with students, they sometimes, the speech is fine. Sometimes they can't hear, so sign language is something you might have to learn. And communication boards, if they can't speak, they can point to things that they want to convey to someone. Like they can say, "I need to go to the bathroom," if they point to the picture with the bathroom on there, or I'm getting angry. We've had communication, not boards, but like chips or like a strip on their desk. Like if I need help, even if they can talk, maybe they don't want to say, "I need help," and they can point to the picture on there that says, "I need assistance." So you know that you can help them. Maybe they don't want you to help them all the time. Or they can, without saying, even if they can speak, they can put their finger on a picture of, "I'm mad right now, leave me alone." Or maybe, "I need to leave right now. Can I leave the room because I'm very upset?" Or whatever they need, so specific to that child. Thank you for your time and listening today. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new today.